Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean, and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettymodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters. They don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, good morning, everybody. Sunday morning coming down. Tropics are coming down. That's my jam. I did pick out my cleanest dirty shirt because I never took it off from last night. Oh, man. We had a hell of a time. Good time last night. Oh, my God. I was expecting maybe 5-10 people show up. Literally hundreds. I swear to God, I've never seen nothing like it. So if you were there last night, it was so awesome talking to everybody. I started talking at 3:30 and I didn't stop until 9 o'clock. It was a heck of a good time with our Spaghetti Model IPA release, and now we got Spaghetti Models into Florida. If Mother Nature, you couldn't have wrote a script like that. I mean, the day I go to Drew Garabo, there's a Cat 3-4 coming to Florida West Coast on the GFS. And now we're going to have Spaghetti Models to Florida this week, the week that Spaghetti Model IPA hits the shelves at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Crazy, man. The weather is just wacky, right? But anyway, welcome. Hello, everybody. This is Mike. And we're gonna have a very slow chat today. Got a big day ahead of me. Got to go back and clean up our mess from last night. Got a birthday party at the Rays game. We'll be live tonight. Shelly, tell me what time's good for you. And then we'll be live tomorrow for sure. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. You know, nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the people who don't follow me think this is something new, and it's not new. We've been talking about this for a week now, and it's the confidence is increasing now. We're almost at the point of it's here. I mean, we're talking about a landfalling possible hurricane, maybe more, as early as Thursday. Today's Sunday. People are like, quit hyping it. It's a week away. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Thursday. It's Wednesday night. It's feeder bands. It's, so the NHC, let's just leave this up. For some reason, is at 70%, and that's their official. There's official. So we'll get into all that. So definitely. So welcome everybody. Thanks so much for watching. This is our Daily Brew, brought to you by our good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. It's a big week this week. There'll be all their spaghetti model IPA will be here and gone as quick as the tropics. It'll be sold out. So make sure you pick it up if you can, and it should be hitting the shelves in a couple days. I'm heading over there tomorrow. So corporate ABC, I'll see you tomorrow for a little speech, and then heading home tomorrow. A little quick turnaround to Orlando. But the disclaimer, people say, why do you say it all the time? Because we have a lot of new people. Okay, we gained like 100,000 followers in a month. Like, it's crazy. I got over 3 million now following across TikTok and Facebook and stuff, and I appreciate it. Okay, I'm the guy that they warn you about. That's a shirt. I'm the guy they warn you about. Don't listen to me. But I'm not a real meteorologist. I have to make the disclaimer. People, whatever I say is not official. It's that. This is official. I'm showing you official. Official's on the screen. So if spaghetti models confuse you and stress you out, then it's okay. So warning. But anyway, here's the official update at 8 a.m. Still 70%. I tell you, I don't understand that. I swear to God, I do not understand that, honestly. Today is Sunday. Okay? The number one thing I hear anymore is that they look at an initial forecast, people don't watch the news anymore. And 3 days from now, they might flip on the TV. And guess what? 3 days from now, you could have a hurricane on your doorstep. And I heard that from Michael. I heard that from Ian. I've heard that from other hurricanes. So today's Sunday. So, anyway, this is official, 70%. So we got an X now. What's the X mean is they have a kind of a guess of where the center is going to be. So maybe we'll get an invest soon. I don't know. But Florida needs to be watching this close. Upper Gulf, yes, but just anyway, my thoughts on that. So I'm going to show you all the latest models and go from there. All right. So good morning, everybody. Yeah, let's not waste our chat worried about free stickers. So yeah, let's say hi to some folks. Morning, Cape Coral. Hey, I met your EOC yesterday. She came up to say hello. That was awesome. So they got your back down in Cape Coral. Another Cape Coral. What's up, John? Let's see what else we got. Yohel's here. My buddy Yohel. Hey, Yohel. Dude, Yohel, listen, I had my third cigar of my whole life last night. And I told the story. I had a big talk with Emily one time about not smoking. And we were on our MWP cruise. And Yohel is a big cigar guy. And I'm like, I'll have one with you on our cruise ship. So we were all sitting around the cruise ship one night. I didn't know how. I inhaled last night like an idiot and about threw up. But I had my first cigar with Yohel over on YouTube. And here comes Emily over my shoulder. She freaked out. Dad! I'm like, I'm sorry, it's my first one. So last night I had my third one, and I warned her ahead of time. I'm like, I'm warning you now, Emily. I'm gonna probably have a cigar because the owner, my boy from TVBC, Dave is there. So, oh, that was a funny story. Stories are great, right? Last night we were throwing wood pallets in the fire pit with Jonathan, my buddy. Hello, everybody. So, I don't mean to be loose today. I think the intensity level is not there for me yet because we don't have official stress level yet. So it's different when we have a cone, when we have official, so I'm trying to, my guts tell me one thing, but we have to be realistic. The National Hurricane Center is kind of giving you the impression that, 70%, but I'm going to show you some models that I'm concerned about, that I've been concerned about. I've talked a lot about history, about this Yucatan area. I don't like to say the word Michael, but we've had a lot of storms down there that have formed. There's a lot of things down there happening. I had the most amazing story yesterday. Lynn, who just said that? Because that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Lindy Jacob. Let me tell you something. Lindy Jacob. All right. So how many? This is my little test because I really want to know if anybody listens to me. So how many have heard me talk about hurricane heat in Florida before a hurricane? I want to know before I go into this story because this is a weird phenomenon that I've experienced now. And maybe I am the hurricane whisperer. I don't know. But, look at old. Oh, I didn't have a dog today. Let me get Louie. Hold on a minute. Oh, Louie. Oh, he was such a hit last night, too, by the way. Everybody loved Louie. He had so many people come up. Louie was the star of the show. Yes. Look at all those yeses. See, you all listen. All right, so I had a gentleman yesterday. David Gentry, how you been, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. David, you should have come by last night, man. How you been, man? Good to see you. So, I don't know what hurricanes. Ian really stood out for me. And I felt it with Idalia. Ian, the heat, okay? And I felt it yesterday. And I had a guy come up to me yesterday. And he doesn't watch me. His wife does. And he's like, I work he's horticulture or whatever, agriculture. And he said he told his buddy yesterday, they call it hurricane heat. He said they can always tell when a hurricane's coming because it's hotter than normal. And so today, if you're in Florida today, about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, go outside. And if you're a Floridian, tell me if it just feels hotter than normal because it was so hot. It's hurricane heat. And what does that mean? It means there's a high pressure over us, okay? The high pressure that is clearing the Gulf out of Gulf wind shear. It's basically cooking the conditions ahead for possible something strong. And that makes no sense. There's no science. People are cringing right now. People are like, that Mike, saying this nonsense. But I'm telling you, squirrels know when there's going to be a cold winter because they stock up on acorns. Ants get the heck out of the water when it's flooding. And fish start biting when there's low pressure. So anyway, the hurricane heat is weird. I'm telling you. Anyway. So that's that. This is Louie, by the way. He's my man. All right. So let's get into all the models and stuff. I really, I appreciate you letting me just rant. So we do have another area. Look at Louie. He's looking over there. He's looking at the monitor, too. So there's a lot of hype about the next system, okay? You ain't going to make it very well. Let's wait till let's do the test when you yawn, if people yawn with you. Ready? He's kind of watching me a little bit. Ready? Watch this. That didn't work too good. A lot of hype about the next system. First off, we're going to have another system. Okay, there's no doubt about it. This is the peak season for the hurricanes is September and October. I'm telling you, the upper air is the calmest. The waters are the hottest. But this one that keeps popping up is just so random right now. So I don't know. Could Florida get a second hurricane in a week or two? Yeah, but right now there's no model consistency to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it. So there's this new area coming off, but you can see most of the models were showing it rotating. So let's just worry about this one, okay? Because models are going to be popping systems here, popping systems there. They're not going to show up to the next run. They're going to show up on the next run. So we're not worried about anything right now other than this little system right here. So don't get wrapped up in, oh my God, there's another one coming, because it doesn't seem like there's any consistency whatsoever. So, all right. This is, my boy. Hey, but we met his brother. We met a Frenchie yesterday that was from the same breeder. You met your brother. It was cool. All right, so this is a big old water vapor map here, and Yellow's dry air, but this is all the moisture down here, and it's bubbling. You know, this is what we're watching. A lot of moisture down here. We got a weird stalled front. So you know my theory about fronts and why this is an East Coast issue and Florida issue. I've been calling it for days. I will say that. I go out on limbs. Nobody else, seems to, but I did. And the reason being is this has been the year of fronts. Ever since Debbie, we've had fronts. Fronts have been, and I said that nobody watches me that religiously, but weeks ago I said, listen, these fronts are going to define the end of the season as far as hurricanes because they now are ruling. We don't have a Bermuda high like we usually do. We got these fronts. That's why everything here is going to do that. So this front is actually helping fuel, keeping that moisture pumping. Okay. We have another front, down the road. It's going to lift this thing up. Fronts. They control everything. And my rant about models is this. This is just pissed me off this season more than anything is everybody's telling you don't trust the models. Well, the models read low pressures and high pressures. We don't need a center. Okay. You don't need a center to track a low pressure. That's my take. A low pressure is a tropical cyclone possibly, but it's still just a low pressure area. And if we can't trust the models within a week, then throw them away. I mean, it's 2024. I mean, and then, no offense to any meteorologist, but they're all saying they don't know. Then who knows? I mean, you got to start. Anyway, so there's our spot. A lot of moisture down there. And what's fascinating, what's going on with this whole area is this. So check out the 700 millibar wind. This is your Central American gyre. This is exactly what this is. Look at that. That's spin. That's counterclockwise spin. Okay, it's crazy. But these winds come around that Pacific and start bringing moisture in, okay? We have strong winds across the Caribbean that's normal. And then we have this frontal line fueling. And look what happens. It's a natural evolution of spinach right there. You're seeing it right before your eyes. It's so crazy. And all this moisture wraps up around and it ends up kicking off the Coriolis effect. Low pressures pop off of this area, and that's what we're watching. So normally this time of the year, we have this strong intertropics convergence zone, which we've lost this season. Beryl, we had a very defined intertropics convergence zone early in the season, and that Beryl had a seed here, and Beryl was a Cat 5 here because it had the ingredients to make spinach. We've lost that. So that's why we're not seeing anything in the tropics right now as far as Atlantic goes. Now we're looking at homegrown action, and that's what we got. So it's happening. That's happening right there. So there's that. All right, what else we got to show you? Ensembles. Oh my God. Okay, so this is about the most. So I took the night off. Obviously, if you're just tuning in, I'm crazy obsessed with posting, and people actually get mad at me for posting too much. I don't know what the official number a day makes some people happy, but when there's something brewing, I'm like I can't. Last night I still posted last night. I'm like this, but anyway. So last night's yesterday's 12Z GFS showed a very sloppy gyre forming large system. Showed 988 pressure. That's a hurricane still, but it's a big, broad area, which means more rains, more winds, flooding. People in Florida we are saturated. Okay, we're going to get into these water forecasts here in a little bit, but we are saturated. So that would be a bad setup. And then the 18Z comes out and it's showing a 950 millibar system. Okay, so the main point for the last week is two things: timing and location. Okay, intensity is going to figure itself out. Intensity becomes reality once we know the basic area. And there's no way to know right now exactly where this is going, first off. But you don't need to know that, because you know what? The effects of a system are very wide, very far-reaching. Idalia went up to the Big Bend area. We had flooding from Lee County I talked to Matt Devitt. They had more They had more surge in areas that didn't have surge for Ian, all the way up. FEMA trailers were in Palm Harbor for 6 months because of Idalia, 100 miles off the west coast of Florida, and we had effects. Tropical storm Debbie, when it passed Florida, closed our bridges, water rescues. So don't get wrapped up. Oh, it's only going to be a 1. Oh my God, it's not. It's not going to hit us. Well, the effects of a system are far-reaching. Okay, if that's one thing, hopefully you've learned through my page in my storm chasing travels, that every storm has different impacts. Okay, Debbie might not have been that bad on the coast, but we had unbelievable flooding places like Live Oak and Lake City, and all the way up towards the southeast Carolinas and Georgia. So we're not wrapped into this whole where exactly landfall is, because we're still a few days away. So what are ensembles? Well, first off, I was really, 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 really shocked at the euro. Euro's on your right. And you've heard, so I was talking to Austin today. Storm doesn't have a name. It's not even there yet. So welcome everybody if you're tuning in. I know a lot of folks texted me this morning that said they going to church, and a lot of people watch this after the fact too. But so I was talking to Austin, and a lot of the method of how so first let me explain something. Everybody has the same access to this stuff. Everybody in the world has access to all these models. I have access. Your favorite meteorologist has access to these models. The difference is how you choose to present the models. Okay, it's what models I believe in, the direction of my tone, and that's big. So, or every year there's systems or models that become believable, and I track that. I mentally know my gut is what models we need to be worried about, right? So the euro this year has absolutely stunk. Okay, and I showed that in a live the other day. But yet some people won't let go that euro is king. Well, look what the euro's done. It completely now, on your right, has adjusted itself. Okay, so it was showing Texas. It was showing a storm next week. It was, but that was a lot of people's tone of like, quit hyping Eastern Gulf. This is a Texas storm. Like, well, anyway, so. And I'm not always right. Everybody's right and wrong, but this is now making at least more sense that we're getting a lot of consistency. I could not believe this morning that every single European ensemble is now showing Florida. There you go. And pretty much all the GFS ensembles. And we're not having any weeks. Here's the other thing. Remember I was talking about it the other day? We had all these models over here showing a weak system, and it was skewing people's, percentages because we had weak members going over the BOC. That ain't happening now. There's no way this thing ain't going to develop. So look, there's no more weak system over here in the BOC. So history, you can learn a lot from history, and history says this is what's going to happen. But the biggest takeaway from this, more than anything to me, so every little reading here is landfall. So timing's still a little worrisome as far as when it might actually happen. But this is Friday morning on the GFS on your left. This is Friday afternoon on the Euro. So this is Friday basically. We have some that have already made landfall. Okay, we have a lot making landfall. We still have a lot down here. But this is the end of the week, and there's a lot of euro already making landfall by Friday, and a lot of them on approach by Friday. So there's this extremely high confidence this thing is going to be here around Friday. Some are showing Thursday. So we don't have a lot of days. I mean, this is This high confidence, man. This is crazy high confidence. All right. There wasn't high confidence before, but now there is. All right. There you go. Precipitable water map. I don't know why I have this up. I was going to talk about Bay News 9 here, Spectrum 9. This is just showing you there's a ton of moisture. And that's, what you don't want in the tropics, basically. All right, a couple more things, and then we're going to go into the models. By the way, it's bubbling down there. There's a lot of lightning down there. This whole general area is just juicing up. Nothing's there now. It's not an invest, so we don't have spaghetti models yet. Hopefully soon we'll get some sort of a center. They did put an X out there, so we have some sort of a guideline. So that means we could be seeing an invest soon. Here's your precipitable water map. And this really explains a lot here, what's going on. So we have a high pressure over Florida. It's going to kind of help pull this to the north. So when we have a high over Florida, we get that hurricane heat. The high pressure spin clockwise, so it's going to do that. It's going to end up here, and then we have a front coming down that's going to lift and turn. That's the bottom line. That's what happens. But you can see that moisture taking shape across the Caribbean and coming in from the Pacific. So the Pacific moisture is actually helping feed. Watch the heavy content here, and this is getting pulled up across Central America, and that's our early stages of development. So there you go. All right, so let's look at models and go from there. Somebody said 100-mile-an-hour winds are possible. Christina, there's enough concern this could be a major hurricane. Okay, trust me. Is it a fast-moving system? Well, it more than likely is going to get tugged and turned fast. Yes, frontal line systems, once they start to move, they usually follow that northeast motion. So it ain't going to park itself. There will be double-digit rains. All right. Where's the X at? Right here. They did put an X, which means they have a guesstimated center now, right there. That's kind of where they think it's kind of coming from, that X. And remember, the red is a development area. It's tricky. They believe it could develop in this red area. It's not the track, but it looks like a track now at least, but it's not the track. It's kind of where they think it could form in that red area. So could we see a turn sooner than Charlie? That is my concern. Historically, we saw it with Francine. Storms turn more because of the frontal line influence. And there's a front coming down. I haven't even looked at it today. We know there's a front coming down. I've stopped looking. But we know there's a front coming down. Here's the front. This is Wednesday. There's our front. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So anytime we have a front involved, systems get turned usually more than expected. Francine did it. Francine went over New Orleans, and nobody expected it to go over New Orleans. Allison, I think I read that the hurricane hunters are going out tomorrow. It should form Monday, Tim. Perry, oh God, you all should be watching this close. And everybody's worried about effects. Listen, we can't focus on landfall. The hurricanes go inland, and they bring, the keys. I was talking to a lady last night. If you're watching from Spring Hill, it was nice talking to y'all. But, if you're not in a flood zone, flooding is the number one cause of casualties in hurricanes. 90%-ish are from water. That's inland flooding and surge flooding. You evacuate, you're still going to get winds. Everybody can tell you that lives in Florida. Everybody evacuates to Orlando, and they get a Cat 1 going through the state. So, you know, you're going to get effects inland as much as coastal, and that's the problem. You know, every storm, people are like, oh my God, I didn't know we were going to get it inland. You know, Michael was a Cat 3 still in Alabama and Georgia. And those, you know, I remember driving through Albany, Georgia after Michael, and the trees, oh my God, the trees down in Albany, Georgia, like they had no idea that they were going to get that, because storms just don't disappear when they hit land, you know. So let me show you all the latest models and go from there. So we'll look back at the last 4 runs. This is what I like to do. So GFS has been really on it, and this is kind of what we got to worry about. So, all right. So the number one takeaway is today and tomorrow. All right. So this is tomorrow. If it develops 990, low 990s pressure by tomorrow, you know, we got a potential strong hurricane coming up. That's just the way it goes. It's going to strengthen once it gets in the Gulf, you know. The waters are the hottest they've been since 13. We have an anticyclone, upper level winds above it. We have MJO phase rolling in. Everything's lining up for this thing to have favorable conditions. So what it does today and tomorrow means so much down the road. So here's what the GFS show latest, you know, not exiting the Yucatan until Tuesday. And then at, you know, 983, 78, 74, 67, 61. So, you know, that's strong. That's Cat 3 range. Here's the old, let me show you this real quick if you want to know what the heck all these pressures mean. They don't use pressure anymore. They only use wind speed. But, you know, 960 could be, you know, Cat 3. Could be Cat 2. You know, 950 is Cat 3. So that's kind of what you're looking at. Middle 990s is hurricane. You know, 960s is borderline 2-3. But here's the other thing I caution that I've learned about. These global models here, they call them, they don't do very good with intensity. They're usually underdone, usually. So, again, we're looking more at the track. You know, this is not a forecast. They're going to change. But our general thinking is very consistent that anybody, and again, it's the east, you know, the east side is way more potent than the west side. So this is the side that everything spins in on. This is the side of the surge, you know. So don't think because it could go to the panhandle that the peninsula won't feel effects. And it's we learned that from Idalia. And peninsula, it gives you a little more time this thing to develop. Now timing, this is Thursday. You can start to feel bands as early as this is Thursday morning. You can see some passing rains Wednesday here down in the Keys. So, you know, this is you know, sneaking in on us, man. 961. So this would be Thursday morning. It would be coming in close. That's, again, not a forecast. It's just, but it's trends that are very, very, very solid. They have not changed. I mean, again, it's all how you choose. You know, it's all what you want to share. You know, and I have a method to my madness, and I don't share models that I don't believe in. And it's not that I'm wish casting. It's just you don't show a random. Well, what happened to my lower level? This isn't. Oh, right here. No, what the hell is going on here? There it is. I don't know what else I'm at. All right. There it is. So, by the way, it's tropicaltidbits.com. You guys know that. All right, so that was that. All right, so that was 6Z. Last night, 00Z. This is not good. So, Dennis is texting me. My buddy Dennis. I love talking about Dennis. People that don't know think that look at my buddy. He's at the softball field. Oh, he's stuck at the softball field. You watching me? That's funny. But anyway, we're good friends. All right, so here's last night's 00Z. Sometimes the 0Z, over the years, 00Z to me is in the 12Z are a little more accurate than the 6Z and the Phantom 18Z. Rumor is, and I have never heard confirmation, but they get fed with the new data for 00Z hours in the 12Z, and the 6Z and 18Z are just kind of spin-offs of that. But anyway, here was last night. So when I said this isn't good, two things. Mother Nature will figure out a way to split this gap, and that's the problem. It always does when there's a front involved. We have that hurricane heat over Florida pushing this up. I'm telling you, man, there is nothing scientific about this hurricane heat, but I will tell you, flood the internet today, Florida, and post hurricane heat and tag me, because this is how the old days did it, man. If we can't trust the models, we got to start trusting our gut, because the experts tell us don't look at models, but we have them. All right, so the reason this is bad, the stronger it gets here, the stronger it's going to be up here, and I can already tell you this is going to be a bad one, and this is Tuesday. So yeah, it's bad. 949. Holy crap. So that's bad. That's major hurricane. And that's right north of Tampa Bay. That's OOZ GFS. Okay. Oh boy. So that's one. That's just one model run. And look, now watch what happens. Remember we talked about the East Coast, right? You all know how these things exit Florida and you get affected. It's going to be moving quick. It's sucking up into a frontal line, and there it goes. That's almost a guarantee. But on its way out, 965 over Jax, Savannah, Brunswick, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. You're going to have a lot of rain. This is just one run. It ain't a forecast. It's a real possibility. One we've been showing for a long time now. And that's the rain map. But there's your double-digit rains in the oranges. So there you go. No way we know any prediction other than we have a general idea right now that this thing's happening. We know timing. We know location. That's a lot in my book. I've never went on a limb like I did a few days ago. But people want opinions and they want what you're thinking. And it takes a lot. I will admit, nobody wants to be wrong. But now I'm getting past that point now that we're seeing consistency in history and timing, and it's hard to believe that any of this is not going to happen. Then last night's 18Z run. Let's see here. 992. Means is going to strengthen, and there's that turn a little bit. So we got a pretty good location, Tampa to Panama. Yesterday's 12Z. I do want to point this one out. So there is a possibility of this, I guess. I mean, this could happen. So the only two scenarios left. We know location. We know timing. This would be a huge sloppy low, with its own effects. Okay. So yesterday's 12Z showed this. This is a very wide gyre type low pressure area that comes up, and it would not be as bad wind wise, but it's still 988, but it would take longer to consolidate into a powerful low pressure. So that's still a real possibility, but still it's a 988 into the panhandle. Lots of rain on the east side. Big effects as it goes up. So, it's not a guarantee that this thing could be a major. It's just I'm worried about that because we're starting to see more model consistency of a stronger hurricane. But that is a real possibility. It could exit here on Tuesday, Wednesday as a very sloppy low pressure area. And if that happens, it won't have time to develop. That's why it's so important Monday, Tuesday, what it does down here. It's going to affect a lot down the road. So, keep your hopes up for that, other than a big rainmaker and, hurricane force winds. But we saw what Barrow was like with Hurricane 1. Don't ever say it's only a Cat 1, please. Okay, I got video proof. We have PTC 8 in Carolina Beach. Doesn't need to be a Cat 5 to make headlines, trust me. But anyway, that's one run. But we had 3 showing major. We got that one. All right, so take your pick. But location and timing are very much showing later this week. So if there are weather gods and Mother Nature likes me, Emily's first softball game is Friday night. If this thing hits Thursday, I could probably make it. And it looks like it could hit Thursday. All right, let's look at the latest Euro. So the Euro's come around. The Euro now is not king anymore. Here's the latest Euro 6Z. 6Z only goes out 997. All right, so you already know the Euro is saying it's going to be developed by the Yucatan, which means more than likely a hurricane up this way. So the latest Euro 6Z. And then we go to last night's full run. 1,000 millibar. Actually, the 6Z, believe it or not, let's go to, all right, so last night's, this is not important, but it kind of is. So last night at 90 hours, it's showing 1,000 millibar. The 6Z just came out, and it's showing a 997. Why is that significant? Because the 6Z now is showing a little stronger system than the overnight run. So that means the 12Z is coming out. It might show a stronger system that last night 00Z did. But anyway, here's the Euro. And it reacts to that front, and it's pretty much, towards Florida Thursday. Cautious on the Euro. I'm not wish casting. It's just the Euro seems like it's always under intensity early on. It has been. It always is. The Euro's always lower. Just historically, the Euro is lower on its intensity. Track is usually good about, now. Once it adjusts, it's pretty good. So anyway, here's that. Timing would be reaching areas. This is Thursday night. Here's Thursday morning. Talked to a gentleman last night going to the concert. I hate telling people bad news, but I said, man, we're gonna have tropical rain bands Thursday night. I told him, here's Thursday morning. We can start to see some of these rain bands already reaching the Florida coast, and really getting strong here later Thursday. This is just the Euro, but it's adjusted. All the Euro lovers that were showing Texas, the Euro was showing it linger over here. People called me a wish caster because I said that's not likely going to happen. I don't want a hurricane. I don't want it. Who wants a hurricane? I like tracking hurricanes. I don't like what they do. But anyway, that's that. All right. I don't want to show any more Euro because the trend of the Euro is now catching up. I don't want anybody thinking that it's the Euro trend is now making sense. All right, let's look at the latest icon. So the icon this year has done the same thing that the Euro has done. It's been terrible initially, and then it adjusts too. So the same algorithm brings the Euro, the icon, but now the icon is definitely catching up to everybody else, showing a developing system in the middle of the Gulf. The latest 00Z is scary. I will admit it. I don't know. It's over here, but then watch what it does. It reacts to that front, and it goes that way, and that's strong. This was Saturday, but 944, So, again, the likelihood of this thing going over here, then doing that, the only thing that's important on this is the fact that it's reacting to a front. So, and if it did do that, it would be a day or two later because it would take longer to get back over here. But 940, so it's showing a 940 because it would have an extra day or two in the middle Gulf. But that's still strong, regardless. The trends, it's thinking the same thing. All right. The latest Canadian It's kind of does the same thing. It loses. It's the best model for initial, and then I don't know what happens to the Canadian. It starts getting wacky towards the end. But it's catching up a little bit. But it's a little weaker. It's, hurricane. This is Thursday morning, but it doesn't really develop it much more than that. So that's good news, right? Still hurricane, but not a major hurricane. But the only good news is we got a lot of consistency on timing and tracking right now. So we don't have an invest yet, so we don't have H-Wharf. We don't have that. I'm afraid they're going to be showing a lot deeper pressures. That's what I fear. Euro AI did phenomenal with Francine. It lost its marbles a little bit during this system, but I think it's adjusted itself. 1,004 millibars on Tuesday, 996. That's not what we want. We don't want this thing to be in the 990s by the Yucatan. And then the Euro AI goes into the Big Bend area, 977. That's a strong Cat 1. Very close to Tampa. You can see we'll be getting effects from it. I say we, Tampa, I live here, but it's just another one showing you the consistency of a developing system off to the Eastern Gulf. That was the 60. The latest 00Z 994 Wednesday, and that one's a little bit more Florida West Coast 980. So it won't have a lot of time when it leaves Yucatan. It's not going to have a lot of time to develop. So that's the good news. But we just have to worry what happens down here. I hate using adjectives, but we know Michael formed down here. Anything in the 990s, 980s here is, bigger for down the road. And then, it crosses, brings effects to the East Coast. So that's just kind of where we're at. I mean, I'm I'm more than 70% confident, put it to you that way, that we're going to see something in probably Florida. I just can't go back now. So that's all these models. Let's take a look at the latest UK. I always save the UK for lives because I don't look at it until we go live. But I showed ensembles, how incredibly close the ensembles are. We'll talk about impacts and stuff in the days ahead until we know official information. I don't want to do that. We're in the stages now of where and when. So the latest UK, yeah. So there you go. I mean, I could have predicted that without even looking at it. So there's your system on Wednesday, exiting the Yucatan. I mean, we could have some effects again. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Is anybody else talking about this besides me? I don't know. Everything I've learned, man, is I don't know. I live and die by the models, right? So the pressure on the UK, hurricane, no major, but again, I'll never forget the early stages of Michael watching this thing develop down there in the Yucatan, and you could just see it coming together. Man, we got that Central American gyre, we got all that moisture. That's the concern. What it is here is going to make, it's not if it leaves the Yucatan at 1,000 millibar, it won't have time to become a monster major. So it's all what happens here. If it's a 980 range system here, then we got a little more problems because it'll have 2 days basically over, coming up. And here's what scares me. I don't mean to say adjectives. I'm not going to say adjectives. I'm sorry. I told myself I won't ever use adjectives. I'll let you guys make the adjectives. Why is my Chrome dark now? I just want to show you this, though. This is, not meant to scare, just to show you how we have to look at all possibilities, okay? Because we have to look at all possibilities. But here's what happened with Dorian, with a lot of storms. The first the first forecast for Michael officially predicted a tropical storm to make landfall. Not saying this is Michael, but this is why we watch this area, is what I'm saying. That's all. But we know, I mean, the first forecast, tropical storm. I mean, come on. That's what, because, and if you read a discussion, the crazy thing is, if you read a discussion, they quote the global models. So the first forecast, 70 mile an hour tropical storm for Michael. But they said, this is what they thought. The intensity guidance is an excellent agreement. The system should strengthen through the forecast period. The global models indicate shear caused by an upper level trough, cold front, over the Gulf of Mexico will persist. In addition, the strongest winds are going to be well removed from center, likely slow development. Based on this, intensity forecast is on the lower part of guidance, and then shows a faster rate of development where shear is expected to diminish. But anyway, they're basically saying the global models weren't predicting anything, and that was in 18, and they still don't do a very good job predicting intensity. So we just, you just watch these areas close. That's all I'm saying. That's all. When we, there was intensity. So we had H-Wharf models back then and stuff, and all the models were showing this thing being stronger. So, and that was 3 days out too. We're still 5 or 6. We're only 5 days out. So that's all. So just watch it close. That's all I'm saying. Sneaky. So there's the latest UK. Yesterday's run, about the same. Let's see what the old KMA is. It's been all over the place. But the latest Korean model, 78 hours out, 1,000 millibar, makes sense. This is Wednesday morning. And then yesterday it showed yeah, that ain't going to happen. So, but it does show straining. It's just, it's all over the place. So I've kind of lost trust in the KMA model. When you see a model do that, you're like, what? That ain't gonna happen. So we don't look at that one anymore. And people think I cherry pick models. They're like, whoa, why don't you show the UK? Why don't you say the Korea is a good model? It is when it's doing what I think the storm is going to do. I'm going to show it, but I don't think it's going to do that, so I ain't going to show it. I don't know how you interpret that. That's my forecast method of showing what I think could happen. I'm not going to make people, I'm not going to show that. I could, but I'm not. And I think we learn a lot from ensembles right now. Ensembles, number one, Mike Clay doesn't watch me, I'm sure. But he taught me about ensembles years ago, and I share them, and I love them. Some people think it's, Louis and Hunter. Louis and Hunter scribbling crayons, and I agree. Sometimes they're like, what the heck? But you can learn a lot from ensembles, and now we're getting this. Let me show you the latest GFS ensembles, back to kind of where it all began. And that's a lot of red, meaning 960 to 979 millibar. That's all Cat 2 plus. You got a couple outliers. Yep, always do. Weaker, but stronger goes east. But again, upper eastern Gulf. That has not changed, in my opinion. 00Z, strong. A lot of these are purple, 950, negative, below 950. All right, so you see that's a real possibility. The models are becoming more your guidance now because they're within the window of time in here. I'm telling you, the fact that the euro has caved. I hate it for the euro lovers, but the euro has caved. The euro is showing a tremendous amount of ensembles, and if you watch me, I try not to forecast, but I said millions of times, we don't trust these weak ones. That ain't going to happen. So it's skewed everybody's opinion on this thing because the euro eventually developed this weaker systems and pulled them north. But look at that consistency. That's crazy. And it'll probably adjust a little bit more east. Yesterday's 12Z. So what a difference. See, that was, look at the so let's go back in time here. So here's the euro a couple days ago. Look at that. It didn't know what the hell was going on in 10 days. Look at that. But look at over time. It didn't it didn't have nothing. But look at this. Look at overnight. Boom. I mean, what a difference 2 days make. There's 2 days ago's ensembles, and look at overnight. Boom. That means you don't trust the euro ever because it doesn't know what's going on early. I mean, look at that. A couple days ago. This is 3 days ago. If you were to, but anyway, that's where we're at. Maybe it'll change again. I don't know. We track models, but man, every day, if you notice the tone of my post, we're 1 day closer. 1 day, as we get, the closer we get to this thing, reality is we're not going to get any more crazy outlier swings, right? So, am I scratching my head? Does that mean no? It doesn't mean nothing. It means my head itches. Oh my God. All right, so nobody should be worried. Everybody should just be aware, that this is there and the confidence is growing. That's all. Hey, listen. So over the years, I've changed a lot. I'm a Debbie Downer. If this thing's coming to Tampa Bay, I'm gonna be out there with my bullhorn telling people to evacuate. Okay, if you're in a flood zone, if you're at an A or B, trust your local EOCs. I've been to dozens of EOC offices. Okay, dozens. They work harder than me. There's a team. Okay, they know the risks. Okay, if they tell you to evacuate, they know. Listen. So it's important that Floridians aren't stubborn. And that was my theme this year. Don't be stubborn, okay? I have a slide. Let me show you just so you know I'm not talking crap here. So I do a bazillion of these presentations a year. And let me sign into my little thing here. And my theme, I got one for ABC. Sean, if you're watching, guess what? I'm going to have to change we talked about this, ABC folks. I'm coming over there tomorrow, but now I'm not. Now we're going to be talking about the storm coming. Isn't that weird? The week that we have spaghetti model IPA, we're going to have spaghetti models into Florida. If I couldn't have wrote that script any better, I've tried to convince Pinellas County. I know you're watching, Kathy. And she wanted to, it just didn't work. We have so much hype in April and May. By now, everybody's done. Hurricane hangover, right? But this is the time of the year we worry. And nobody wants to talk about it now. They want to talk about fall football and fall foliage. All right, let's see if I can make this full screen here. File. I'm trying to show you my slide that I do. Well, let me drag it over here at least. I don't know how I can make this bigger because it's in the design stages here. There's got to be a way to make this bigger. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, but you can read it. I mean, there you go. Maybe I can make it bigger just by zooming. Oh my God, nope. Anyway, all right. This is what I use. This is one of my slides. Tampa Bay. It's not if, it's when, right? But look at this thing. Don't be stubborn, Florida. So here's the mentality of everybody I talk to. They evacuated for Irma. They evacuated for Ian. They evacuated for Charlie. And these three storms were supposed to come to Tampa, and they didn't. They went further south. So people ask me, are you worried in Tampa? I'm like, well, yeah, because if anything goes to our north, I'm worried about a turn, unexpected turn, more east. And we had three that were supposed to hit Tampa that went south, unfortunately, for that area, obviously. Key takeaway, though, is this. Look at where these exited for South Florida. This exit point is everything, in my opinion. It exits a little here, it's probably going to be here. If it exits here, it's probably going to be there. That's just the way history works. But, I'm worried about this stubbornness of people that are going to be like, I ain't doing it again. But, man, listen, you gotta, every storm you just got to start over, start fresh. You got to realize, it could come. And if, yeah, so anyway, but we don't even have a storm yet, so that's all down the road discussions if we even get one, right? NAC's at 70%, so maybe there's 30% chance that we won't. Maybe we won't. So anyway, we'll be live tonight. What time tonight, Shelly? 8? Is that good for you? Anyway, that's it. So. Tampa's safe, Shelby, because of our Indians, right? Philippi Park here. That's what they say. Center Don, they might, now that they have an X, they might invest because I'm sure the panic level is a little high right now with this being a possible Thursday storm. It's only Sunday. What the hell, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they just go ahead and invest this thing now. I think the hurricane hunters are supposed to fly out tomorrow, but by tomorrow, 100%. 100% tomorrow we should have an invest. So pick a time. All right, we'll do 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. We'll see what today brings. There's going to be a lot of models. I'm going to the Rays game. Oh man, I had a hydraulic leak on my trailer. I gotta fix that before Talladega. Oh, never fun. They might be going out today, Debbie. Okay. I don't follow that enough. I need to learn how to read all their messages. We've been an hour. I could spend all day talking, but we'll be at 8. My backup internet. Well, listen, Andy, I got so many ways. I got 2 Starlinks now. I got a 4G hotspot that's an open key service that'll connect to any tower, and then I got a 5G. But right now I'm on Spectrum, and it's done amazing all the way through Irma. We didn't even lose internet during Irma. Yeah, so my cell phone bill is 2 Starlinks is $300 a month. My MiFis are $59 a month, so that's $120, $420 a month. And I do it for clicks. I do it for clicks so I can get clicks. Mike the Hype. I do it for you all, man. And people don't like that sometimes. Jeez, crackers, man. I was so antsy last night that I couldn't even look. I felt like I was cheating on my people looking at my phone last night. Then I finally sat down with my family. Had to be 9 o'clock. It was dark. And then I look at the phone, and I'm like, man, I got to just let it go. Let it go. But down the road, my long-term plan is this, and Shelly knows it. I think I need to not do so much in the off season. I just got to turn things off because the obsession, it's a hobby. This is a hobby of mine, and I love it. I have a back porch that overlooks a lake with baby alligators and turtles. And I can't even find time to drink a cup of coffee out there, and it's sickening, actually. I get antsy. Like, I gotta go look at models. I gotta post. That's what I've always done. Nothing's changed. But I gotta like take time. So my mom and dad had a photo on their wall. Said, take time among the hours to smell the flowers. There's 24 hours in a day. So I get on Emily's ass all the time about doing things. I'm like, oh yeah, there's only 24 hours a day. You didn't have 5 minutes, Or if you're in a hurry and you hit a red light, leave 5 minutes early. So, all right. So we're still in a 12-foot skeleton alert. Don't put your 12-foot skeletons out, Florida. I did not take my. So me and Dennis joke about it. Our 12-foot skeletons are still in the attic. Why do I think this could be bad? Well, there's a lot of things. One is the moisture out there now. One is this right here. We have an MJO phase front coming in. This is when we get big storms. Upper level atmosphere favors development of tropical systems when we're in green. The water temperature is a record water temperature. Brian McNally's site here. Ocean heat contents, everything you worry about. You don't worry so much about sea surface temperature. You worry about ocean heat content. And it is the hottest it's been since 13. Think about that. Since 13. And this is averaging the whole Gulf. This is the Eastern Gulf's smoking compared to the Western Gulf. Western Gulf, Beryl, Francine, Ernesto, Alberto. I don't know. There's been, but this red dot means the ocean heat content is the hottest since 13. That's not hype. That's fuel. We have a loop current that I'm concerned about because it's turning the other direction. Usually these loop currents are pointing a little more west. So this is fuel for this system as it develops to be pulling in extra heat content. That's thousands of feet of hot water below the surface. So it won't run out of energy. That's not hype. That's reality. This is hot water. And you can see that on the ocean heat content maps here, showing you where that loop current and loop eddy are currently right here. So there's your ocean heat content in the Eastern Gulf that it will feed off of. And that's why rapid intensification is a concern. Here's your 30-year anomaly maps here on Tropical Tidbits. This is a 30-year average of, it only goes to 10, but still, showing you 2 to 3 degrees above a 30-year average. So, and notice the other, the Gulf's normal on the west side, but not the east side. So, yeah, Anyway, so yep, that's it for me. I'm a little worried here in Tampa, but more worried for all of Florida at this point. From a system that's not even developed yet. But it doesn't even seem possible that the Big Bend could get 3 hurricanes in 2 years. I don't even know if Mother Nature's ever done that. But I'm not going to make any bold predictions right now on exact landfall. I think it's getting closer and closer to making those maybe in a day. But timing in Florida, pretty darn solid if you ask me, that we're talking Thursday, Friday. So that's becoming more reality. All right? What do you think, Hunter? Want to say hi? Come here. Oh, you run away like a little kid. What do you think? All right, we'll see you tonight at 8 p.m., all right? Have a great Sunday. I'll be at the Rays game. Cheers. I'll be drinking